Guten Morgen and Mahalo Uber Cinco Nation! I'm Mitch Brinkman, your host for today's rodeo, and in the den we've got the main and the big wet boy, Nathan Hennenfent and Brian Ernst. Hello, good morning, how are you two?
Fantastic.
Wonderful. Excited to get really gross. This is going to be disgusting.
Hell yeah, okay. You know, guys, I just realized that's the third time I've referenced, our nation of loyal Uber Sinkies, the weekly rowdies that come back every week for more top 5 lists. And, and yet the nation doesn't send us many letters or emails or TikTokies. Oh, Christ. Guys, I'm leaking here. I'm thinking about how our fans have just been assuming this whole time, like, our lines are jammed, there's no way they're going to get through the incoming letterboxes over stuff, but hoodle, look at this, boys. A pony scratched on my window this morning with a letter in its teeth, postmarked Uber Cinco, care of Brinkman. So here's a letter. Let me open this up. I'm going to do it. This is great live Foley work. Here we go. For those of you not watching on video at home, I'm opening a security envelope, one of those that people can't tell it's a check inside. It's very good. Oh, here we go. Okay. Do you hear that? Okay, good. Great Foley again. Okay. Hey, Uber Cinco. Can't believe it's been over a year of the podcast already. Wow. The opposite of a train wreck. A true marvel. Way to go. Oh, this is really nice. And the Mike's Liquor bit blows me to the moon. That's a reference. There's a fan. Keep digging for fire, boys. Okay. Makes me look forward to Mondays nearly as much as my new Nissan.
Wow.
But, I guess there's always a but, right? But you've done 2 highfalutin episodes lately. The episode about celebrating America splashed too much satire all over my ear holes. Another reference to the show. That's a fan. They're still drying off. So now I want you to make room for something we can all relate to. Give us something base. I want more strong belches, less private toots, more strong smells, and slippery surprises, and the how do you do's. Hell, maybe even sing The Gambler. Wow, that's a deep cut. She's listened to the college radio show. Don't treat it like a glass castle. Bring it strong today like it's Kong Skull Island. What? And give the Uber Sinky Nation what they deserve, the top 5 memorable bodily functions of all time. Now, with a grunt and a greasy gush, Brie Larson, 21 Jump Street, LA, California, 90446. Wow, okay. This is crazy. Okay, Brie Larson, now friend of the pod. She's a shameless promoter. I don't know how many. I think she referenced almost every single one of her movies that made money in the letter. But we love her for it. In fact, I'll be sending her a beautiful appointed gift basket from Mike's Liquor in beautiful downtown Ely, Minnesota. Mike's Liquor for when flowers aren't enough. But guys, can you believe this? This is our first real handwritten fan letter from a Hollywood it woman, no less. I think that's pretty cool. All the plugs do feel obviously a little overwrought, I think, unnecessary. She's already famous enough. We could use the plugs, right? I would love more plugs. And if you're going to get plugs, always go with Dr. Barry Usenhausen, Southwest Central Wisconsin's only hair additive expert. Human or horse hair can be provided at cost. Go to Barry to get hairy. So this strongly worded, fully plugged letter, though, I think we should heed it. Originally, we were going to do top 5 doctoral theses about the relativity of Earth-based moon landing cinematography today. But I think we should scrap that and, let's do top 5 bodily functions. What do you guys say? You guys up for it?
Great idea. I can rattle them off.
Amazing. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a quick break here. We're going to do a rundown of the rules, and we're going to see what you guys can come up with.
Each player in the den has spent time with today's topic arranging their top 5 answers in order of importance. Those answers have been submitted to the host who will moderate the game, awarding points to the player with the most poignant answer.
Starting with their number 5 choice, we will move up the ranks until we reach each of their top answers. But if both contestants happen to have the same answer on their list, well, we have an Uber stare-down.
You will hear the official Uber Cinco siren, and both players must reveal their answer and what number they ranked their submission. An Uber stare-down is all or nothing, with one player earning 3 points. After all answers have been read, the host will reveal the final score.
And nicht vergessen, Bear Den Nation, join in on the fun by heading over to bizbear.biz and sending us your topics and Fast 5 suggestions. Your submissions could find their way into an upcoming episode, kind of like how Brie Larson did just now with a letter. All right, top 5 memorable bodily functions. Let's keep them specific, torrid, and instant classics, all right? And folks, don't forget to stick around to the end of the show where I will offer up my Fast 5 list of top 5 reasons to put your fist into your mouth. All right, fellas, let's do this. And of course, as host, I get to make a house rule. And today's functions show, let's also have some fun, but with mathematical functions, okay? But that math is honestly too hard, so we'll keep it simple. So if one of you say one of the 2 words on the, here we go, got my coasters, on my coasters of conundrum. Ooh. There are secret words there that are related to bodily functions that will trigger the Quick Math Quickfire Challenge. You have 30 seconds to answer as many quick math questions as you can. Each correct answer, 1 point. You'll receive 1 guess per question. You miss it, we move on. Okay, so here we go.
It's going to be so embarrassing.
Yeah, this is going to be a train wreck.
These won't be easy. Nathan, you won the pre-show armpit accordion off by scoring a near-perfect 77.98 on your rendition of the classic song, My Sauerkraut Has No Name. So please, sir, start us off with your number 5 memorable bodily function.
My number 5 is the puke that made me $175.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No way did we have a stare down on vomit.
Oh, that's very... Okay, so
Wow.
Nathan, this is your number 5. Brian, tell us your number 4.
My number 4 is the Great Resurgence of 98.
Ooh, that's going to be messy. All right, Nathan, take us into your number 5. What happened?
So this wasn't my own bodily function, but I was close at hand for it. So this is 2016 is when this happened. And at the time I was making a little extra money on the side by driving for Lyft, the classic rideshare situation. And this was the very last time I ever did it late at night or anywhere near bars. Could be a potential place where I picked up a passenger, because I was downtown in River North in Chicago. And I was like, oh, I should go home. And I got one more ride request. And it was like literally 10 feet away from where I was. And then this girl who looks like she's about 22 years old, like barely old enough to get into the bars, like comes kind of stumbling out in her high heels. And like, I can tell she's a little worse for the wear, but I'm like, all right, whatever. And she gets in. And then I realize I have to take her all the way to the suburbs. Like there's going to be like about 10 miles of interstate expressway driving on this. And I'm like, I'm close enough to the highway where like I get on it, and then I realize, like, I kind of look back and I realize she is really, really messed up. Like she is like problematically drunk, where like if I had noticed this like right when she got in the car, I would have been like, sorry, like just no, like you gotta go elsewhere, like go talk to your friends. Like I'm just not doing this. But at this point, like I'm out on the highway, like I can't like find a place to pull over and get rid of this girl in the middle of the night.
Rest areas.
So, well, I'm committed at this point. Like I've got to get her home safely.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
And so we're on the highway, and then all of a sudden I notice she rolls the window down, you know, and it's got that the loud roar is going, and I'm like, this just isn't good. But I don't even try to talk to her because I know she is so incoherent. And then I do like peek a look back, and her head she literally is like sort of sleeping with her head like out the window while we're doing 55 miles an hour. And
this is like
just
the Joker in the Dark Knight.
Yeah,
He's just enjoying
in the police
night
car.
Wind. Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, I get her to her house. I have to like, you know, be like, hey, you're here. And like, I go up and I knock on the door. I go up and I knock on the door, and I make sure somebody's there to like take care of it. And I think it was her brother came out and got her or whatever. And then like I go and I examined what had happened, and she had been throwing up out the side of my car for a significant portion of the trip. And so there's just puke splattered all out the outside of my car, and obviously some of it got in as well.
Yeah.
And so I had to clean it all up and whatnot. But I took pictures of it and I sent to Lyft, and I saw like she tipped me $2 for the ride, and I was like, oh, how sweet is that? And then
Oh my
it's like,
God.
you have no idea. And then they got me 150 extra from her, so it ended up being $175 that she had to pay me for puking in the back of my car. So
Oh.
yeah, I hope the young lady learned to tone it down on the nights out and not vomit in other people's vehicles.
Can we give her a bonus point though for like mainly having her head out most of the time? Like
I did appreciate it. I
mean,
did appreciate it. Yeah, that
you
could
have
have been
cloth
worse.
seats if I remember correctly. That would have
I
been
do.
a mess.
It's funny when you sent me your list. You put the year after, and my eyes misread it as the puke that made me $175,201. I was like, "What?"
I noticed when I looked at
"How is
this. Yeah, you would have heard that story before.
Yeah, oh my!
And we would
gosh.
have a lot nicer equipment for this podcast.
Yeah. Did she make any music requests for the ride, or is she too?
She barely could get like 3 words out. She was really, really gone.
Oh, that is that's rough.
Were those 3 words? Kasha, Arlington Heights. That's all you heard.
Wow. Brian, let's see if you can top that with your number 4 here on the stare down.
Well, I can easily because it is my memorable body function, which automatically makes it a winner. And 2, it happened when I was a cute little 8-year-old boy. This little guy, 7 or 8, standing in the 2nd grade line to leave school to go home on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
I was running late to school that day and had a poor choice of breakfast. I had grabbed some Twinkies from home, and they were serving McDonald's double cheeseburgers for lunch, and I had $1 or something in my pocket. So I had McDonald's double cheeseburgers and Twinkies for lunch, and it was all fine until the end of the day. And we're in line, and I'm standing there in my, I think it's a Looney Tunes jacket I was wearing. It was a Looney Tunes Leatherman jacket.
Sure.
And it was
You were
pretty
on the
sick.
Toon Squad, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was dope as hell. And it happened. My great resurgence of 1998, while I'm standing there in line, as our line is starting to walk towards the bus, that lunch comes back up and lands on the blue and gray striped carpet.
Oh.
I am ushered to the nurse's office, where I proceed to walk in like a zombie. Because I remember, I don't know why, this is a very vivid memory. I walk in, I take off the backpack, I take off the jacket, and I fall face first on the bed, and I'm just like, And all I remember is the nurse saying, can you pick up your stuff? This is not your home. So my parents had to be called to come pick me up early from like an hour early after just because I had puked on the way home, not on the way to. Could have missed a whole day of school if I planned it properly, but I did not.
I love your irresponsible food choices, because Twinkies at breakfast or whatever, that's not a breakfast, obviously not. And I once made a very irresponsible food choice when Mountain Dew Code Red came out. I was like, I need to drink as much of this as I can to see what it's like. So I had 3 bottles in a day at school, and this is in high school. And I puked in the back of the bus a little bit on the way home. This is my freshman year of high school. And I stepped off the bus. And my brother just happened to be like going out to his car out in front of the house. And he says he just watched me step off, turn, grab my knees, and just deposited like 2 liters of red bile into the grass.
Oh
And
God.
then he was like, what the like he thought I was just bleeding from everywhere inside, you know? So congrats to Mountain Dew Code Red. I hope it's not made anymore. These are 2 very gross stare downs, and I think because you know, Nathan was inconvenienced, Brian, you inconvenienced your parents. Cars were involved in both respects because you had to come get picked up. A car was involved.
It's true.
But the Toon Squad, but the cute little kid jacket, I think puts us over the top here. Brian was prophetic in his saying that his 8-year-oldness would make the difference, and it does there. Brian, you have to give us your number 5 though to round that out.
I do.
Yep.
This one I'm calling the Tiny Rumbler of the Aughts. Because I don't remember exactly what year this happened in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
But I remember very specifically I was playing TV tag, a very specific kind of tag, outside on the lawn with the neighbors and some friends. TV tag, Nathan, is where you have to say the name of a TV show right before you are touched. And if you say that, you are safe.
Yep.
And you touch the ground. And you can't be tagged.
Future
That's
cinephile
the worst
right
game
here.
I've ever heard. Okay.
Media man, yeah.
I'm sorry to hear your childhood sucked.
Yeah.
So moving on, I was running through the grass and I met with the perfect trajectory of a baby fly that hit my ear and got trapped behind my eardrum.
What?
As we were playing outside. And I sat there for a second. I probably said something like Dexter's Laboratory. And then I sat down on the ground. And then I felt
Home Improvement. Sorry.
And then I felt the buzzing that sounded like I was standing next to a concert speaker. Bzzz. It was like a surround sound right here against my ear. It was the loudest buzz you've ever heard. It was trapped like right under the fold of my eardrum. And I'm running around like, it's buzzing. It's buzzing. And my mom's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
She's like, it's buzzing. There's never been a TV show. You're out. You're it.
So my quick thinking mother runs into the house, grabs a syringe as she's a nurse and just has one. She rips off the needle and then she just draws a bunch of water and just goes in there and she catches it in a cup. And my only response is, can we save it to show Dad when he gets home?
That is like one of the greatest mom moments I've ever heard, though. Like,
like boom, sprung into action.
Actually knowing how to solve that crisis is amazing.
Yeah, I'm like, I'd be useless as a dad in that situation. Be like, I don't know, just sleep it off.
It's a very Jill Taylor move, for sure.
It is. It is.
Wow. Okay. That
The
was
amount
great.
of home improvement references we've made, not only in this episode, but in this series, has been quite amazing.
It was an American mediocre institution. So, and Brian, I'm gonna give you 2 points on this one. This is crazy that the fly got in your ear. I did want it to be a little grosser though. So I don't know if you could have had some.
That's why it's my number 5.
farts
It's
and
a
poops or
memorable
belches in there.
function.
Yeah. Okay.
It ain't gross.
All right,
it's
Nathan,
number 5.
That brings us to your number 4. Keep us rolling right along here, sir.
This is another bodily function that was not my own, but I was in proximity to that earned me something.
Oh,
this
Nathan,
time it
do you
earned
have
me.
any of your own bodily functions on
Oh,
today's
just
list?
you wait.
Okay,
I've
all right,
got a
good,
couple
okay.
real good ones. So this was my old roommate, Russell, had a dog named Hendrix, who he was a real hellhound, and Russell traveled for work at the time. I did tell Russell I was going to tell this story on the episode. And he traveled for work. He'd be gone like 2 or 3 days a week, and it would just be me and the dog back home. And there was a day where I texted Russell and said, "You are getting a dog walker from this day forward. I just am no longer going to be doing this." And this was that day. I came home, and Hendrix had some. He must have eaten something bad. It was. It looked like
your Indian food out for him to eat on the coffee table.
That's the only explanation for the atrocity that I saw. Like this poor dog it looked like there were 10 dogs had been living in my apartment for a week. It was everywhere, and it was gross. It was all of all different shades and textures. I was just flabbergasted at how this was possible. And luckily I had like 2 or 3 old towels that needed to be replaced because they all got used up. They were It was a nightmare. I took pictures of it thinking I was like, I was going to send this to Russell because I was so mad at him because his dog and maybe whatever. I don't think I ended up doing that, but I explained to him that things were just awful. And anyways, from that day forward, he started using a dog walking service. We lived together for like another couple of months or something. And then when his now wife, they just got married, had moved up here. So he moved in with her and I moved across the street to where I am now. And as we were splitting, he felt so guilty about that one dog shit incident that he gave me the PS4 that was his, but that we had been sharing while we lived together. So I ended up getting a PS4 out of it. So I earned $170 from that one lady puking. I got a PS4 from Hendrix taking a shit. So I've come out ahead, although I did get robbed of that PS4 eventually, but that's a different story for a different episode. But there you go.
I'm really hoping number one is you were standing next to a guy who like farted at a casino in London and chips fell out of his butt, and he's like, "You can have them," Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know we had to redeem something at the end of these bodily functions. That was a rule that was not explained to me.
Nathan, I'm going to give you 3 points because I'm going to take the chance to plug Brinker's All Natural Dog Biscuits for when your pooch has a little upset tum-tum and he needs to get back to baseline. Brinker's, the best
like,
there is.
don't dogs eat the same food for every meal? Like, how do you get sick?
Well, you need to, Brian, I love that you asked this question. This is great because you need to augment your dog's diet if it eats regular kibble with some extra vegetables and all those kind of things. The extra good stuff. It's very important. So
Mitch is the only person who's ever owned a dog, Brian. I don't know if you're aware of that.
It feels like it sometimes.
Guys, dogs are loyal. They have fur and they live in your house. They're great things to have. And they love you all the time.
Those are all the worst things I could ever think about having an animal.
They love you all the time. You don't want to be loved no matter what.
No. It's mainly that last part. They live in your house. That's the worst part.
Well, maybe.
I.e. Hendrix.
I'm gonna go right past these anti-dog comments, and we're gonna move forward to the number 3s here. We're gonna go back to Brian. Give us your number 3, bud.
Well, we are an anti-dog podcast. You just don't know it yet. Number 3. Wow. The spring-loaded hopper of 2001.
Okay.
This is where I was probably in my prime and athletically in middle school. I had brought my Nike padded goalie gloves with me to 6th grade gym.
Scouts were definitely there. I can already tell. Right?
Yeah, for sure. I was so pumped to show these off.
Yep.
I had them for years and I never had a chance to use them because I stopped playing soccer. But now I found them and I got to use them. And they had this really cool black and yellow kind of bumblebee vibe to them. They were slick. And
shit, dude.
I know. They were starting to get a little snug too. So it was now or never.
Yeah.
But a power kick from some kid in class fired for the right side corner of the net, which were just 2 cones in the middle of the field because that's all we had. I dove full FIFA horizontally and blocked it with both hands firmly together.
Wow.
And my adrenaline was pumping because I was like, I did something cool. And then I got verified because the gym teacher, Miss Casey, walked all the way across the field to tell me that was the greatest save I've ever seen. And I was like, wow, I've made it. Where are those scouts? Those middle school scouts? What if I get scouted to a high school? Whoa. Yeah. I didn't, and my career ended that day. So I am batting 1,000 at goalie.
Yep.
That was the only shot fired on goal. I saved it, and my career is perfect. Better than any goalie you could ever name in the history of soccer. So I did it.
That's amazing. Do you still have the gloves saved in carbonite somewhere in your house, or?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're always on my mantle, so I have to be able to tell my children, like, look what Papa did. I'll take you to that field one day when you're old enough, and I will kick the ball as hard as I can at your face. And if you don't block it, you are not as good as me. So that's, again, just more parenting advice.
Is this one of those great soccer fields where it's patchy, has crabgrass, and has like rocks here and there? Because that's I feel like every soccer field I played on as a kid.
It was pretty good grass. I mean,
wow.
a little lumpy. I mean, it is a random field.
Sure.
But it was pretty good playing conditions, I would say.
Okay. All right.
So the fact that my legs spring loaded to launch me, a chubby little sixth grader, I feel like is a bodily function that was extremely memorable to me.
That's good. Yeah. A really springy jump. I love that. Okay,
Yes.
Nathan, let's see if you can top a springy jump from a little, blue ribbon butterball. So.
All right. Well, I'm going to worry. I'll see if I can get through this. I'm not feeling great on it. Excuse me. No.
Oh boy. Nathan, if
sorry.
you need to stop.
So this was my fake puke that made someone else puke. 2003, my sophomore year of high school, I discovered I had a talent for faking that I was throwing up. I don't know how this happened, but I just did it once as a joke, and I was very convincing. So then I went to another group of people who hadn't seen me do it before at a different classroom, and they were also very convinced. And I was like, wow, I'm pretty good at this. And for just I will spare everybody the audio of it and all, but also I got pretty theatrical with
don't
it.
Spare us. No.
I would pick up.
Give us the vomit sound.
I've done enough, but
You're losing points here. I'm trying to give you points.
I would pick up the trash can, I would put my head in it, and I would really make the I would really get after it. Anyways, I walked into one classroom. This is maybe the fifth time I had done this, and I thought most people had seen me do this by now, but I really made a big production of it. And some people were laughing. Most people were like, this is really stupid, and I hate that he does this now. Yeah. And but then one girl had not seen me do this before, and she believed it to be 100% real. And then I saw her jump up out of her chair, go to by the teacher's desk where there's a trash can, and she literally threw up.
Wow.
Ooh.
So I faked throwing up well enough that it made somebody else actually throw up.
Wow. This is pretty damn cool, I have to say. This is a 3-pointer, making someone else puke. You were reticent to give us the puke sounds, though, so I can't give you a full 3. But it does sound like a behavior I would also engage in middle school to get a bunch of attention. So you're back up to 3 points. There it is. Okay, Brian, we're chugging along here. Nathan, do you have any other bodily function talents, perhaps, that you would rate yourself higher than other people? Any sort of talents you have out there? Any at all?
Are you thinking of something specific that I'm not remembering?
I don't know. Maybe something that, happens because you don't do another thing ever.
I believe you gave me the nickname Nathan One-Way Hennenfent because I don't burp except for once every 12 years I burp.
So what are you good at on the other end, if you will?
I think fart on command is pretty much the word.
Quick fire! I really led you into that one. Well, one of the mystery words on the coaster of Conundrum is toot. That's a fart. So here we go. Nathan, get ready. Here we go. 30 seconds. Brian, is it on the clock?
It's on the clock.
Okay, here we go.
Starting now.
All right, Nathan. 69 divided by 3 plus 33 divided by 7. I'll say it one more time. 69 divided by 3 plus 33 divided by 7.
8.
Yes, good boy. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 times 13. Move along. Here we go. 33 divided by
104.
Okay, good. 104. Got that one. Oh, woo. That is a lot of, that's coming at you fast. 2 points plus for Nathan. Excellent job on the quick math, quick fire challenge. Here we go. We are going back to Brian for his number 2. Give that to us, Brian.
All right. My number 2 is the infamous plop hole incident of Bayfield County.
This sounds awful, and I can't wait.
What's really funny is how I spelled hole wrong on my notes. Added the W for no reason, folks. The plop hole which is what I call those outhouses, like that are by campsites that are.
Oh yeah.
It looks like a toilet, but it's really just a glorified porta potty.
Poured
It is
cement,
just a
PVC pipe structure with like just the only part of an actual toilet is the seat. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
And it is just a well of darkness and sadness. And I remember we were, I believe, on an island where there wasn't like access to a bunch of stuff at this little beach that we were on. So we're like, all right, cool, blah, blah, blah. You got to walk back to where you parked the car to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you just pee in the lake. No problem. Everything's fine.
Yeah, normal.
But it's like you're like getting the tummy rumblies and you're like, this one will float and people will see. So I need to get out of the water and be responsible and head back. Of course, I didn't have contacts at the time. I had my glasses, so I just left them in the bag on the beach and I'm like, I can make it back, blah, blah, blah. So I walk all the way back, do my business, and the problem happens after I'm done. I pull my trunks all the way back up and I walk outside the porta potty. And as I am tying, somebody else's brown is all over my drawstrings.
Oh.
There was a plop incident in front of the toilet that I did not see because I was rushing to get back. So I dropped my drawers on top of that pile and I left with this and I was just furious. And this is the first time, why this is a memorable body function is I remember this is the first time I swore in front of my parents. I got back, my dad, I'm just like sobbing and crying and walking back. And he's like, what's wrong? What's going on? I'm like, I don't care. I have to say it. I got someone else's shit on me.
I hope Rick laughed in your face when you said that.
He was extremely calm. He was like, go in the lake. Just start washing it off. It's fine. Like, do what you can, that sort of thing.
Don't put your fingers in your mouth for a while.
Yeah, don't ruin anything. It's fine.
Boy.
You'll be okay. So yeah, this was plop holes. Not my favorite place to be. And again, this might be the only one on the list that might be somebody else's bodily function that affected me, even though I happen to have my own function at the same time. This
is absolutely awful. I myself am afraid, or I have fears of those things because of a certain X-Files episode where there was like a white alien with like a circular mouth with teeth that would hang out in the bottom of chemical toilets, and
the Leech Man.
Yeah, the Leech Man. Thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh God, I'm just always thinking there's gonna be a Leech Man in here.
Yeah.
And either he's gonna take pictures of my butt or he's gonna come up and bite my butt. So either one.
The final shot of that episode is terrifying because the camera goes into the sewer and you just see him floating away. Just yeah, it's horrible.
Absolute. Just absolute horror show. Nathan, buddy, pal.
He's scrounging around for some treats.
You scrounging for some headphones?
Sorry, guys. My headphones are a problem. I'm doing my best.
Okay, Nathan, your turn to give us your number 2.
All right. Well, my number 2 is actually a number 1. It's my longest ever urination. So, junior year of high school, I dated a girl who lived about a 40 to 45 minute drive away from my home. And I was over at her house real briefly. So I drove over there to hang out with her for like an hour. Makes sense. Yeah. So I was there and I remember I really had to go to the bathroom, but their house was like, it was kind of small. Like the bathroom was like that, at least that I knew where it was kind of small and had like what I at least believed to be thin walls, and her mom was sitting like right outside of the door where it was, and I'm like, I know this is going to be a very like loud urination, and I was just too embarrassed to do it, so I was like, all right, I'll just hold it and I'll leave. So I leave and I've really got to go, and I'm like, I'll find a place to go while I'm driving. But the drive between this town and my hometown is basically a 2-lane highway the whole way. It's like a treadmill. It just feels like it goes on, and it's pretty precarious to try and stop anywhere. So I'm just like in pain because I gotta go so bad and I can't stop. But then, like, once I get like 10, 15 minutes away, I'm like, you know what? Now I see this as a challenge. Like, I'm gonna make it. I am gonna make it home. I'm gonna get there. And so I get home and I'm like doubled over and I run inside and my mom's like, hi. And I just like sprint past her and I get to the bathroom, but not before I go into my bedroom and grab a stopwatch, which I had, and I get the stopwatch, I go in and I let her fly. And it was 1 minute and 40 seconds nonstop peeing before it stopped.
Holy
a minute 40.
Shiza.
Oh my Lanta.
Yeah. And then I went to a birthday party like right after that, and I told everybody. I was just so excited about this story. And it was 140 straight through. There were aftershocks afterwards, but it was 140 without a break. It was like the Austin Powers scene when he comes out of So my longest ever pee. I'll never forget it.
I regret to inform you that is only about 100 or so seconds. The world record is 508 seconds.
Oh my God.
So you need to quintuple the size of your bladder for the next time.
I think that was my peak. I
a
salute
minute
whoever.
40 is impressive. Like whoever does 508. That's insane.
Also,
But
that's
I'm
disgusting.
so proud of 140.
You're normal people are like, oh, I've got a food baby. Someone's like, I've been out tonight. I have got a piss baby, you guys. I have got a belly full of urine here. That is okay. A couple notes here. I really liked you didn't know where more than just the one bathroom was. I don't know why that was interesting to me, but you were like the one bathroom I knew about. Also,
I was so nervous around girls in those days that I was like, I can't ask where another bathroom in the house is. Like,
well, yeah,
I was pretty shy and bashful and timid and all of those things.
Hey, Mary, which bathroom do you guys shit in? That's the one I need to use.
And if the mom could hear, if the walls are thin, she probably heard your underwhelming performance up in her daughter's bedroom just before that too. So
literally nothing had happened that day.
There is nothing I hate more than a bathroom where either the door doesn't go all the way down to the ground, the door is too thin or the walls are too thin, and people can hear other people going to the bathroom. I'm gonna get a soundproof door when I'm older. I tell you what, in my first house, 3 points to Nathan. That is a very, very long meditation on the yellow arts. Very nice. But you guys, time for the number one. Brian, give it to us, buddy.
All right. My number one, I am calling the Mile High Finish Clog. This is interesting.
Yep. Number one versus number one stare down. This both involves other people and namely like people in uniform. So Nathan, give us your number one.
Yeah, mine. It's a number two, and the police become involved.
All right. Well, I guess a sky marshal could have been involved in mine, but he wasn't. This is where I was spilling coffee on myself on a flight from Helsinki to London, as you do.
As a bit?
And
like for jokes?
No, it was not on purpose. Okay. I actually spilled it on my brand new black and blue sweater that I had bought that had the word Finland in Finnish on it, which was awful. I ruined it. So I know I have to go into the tiny little bathroom as a big boy. Mm-hmm. So, but before that, the lovely flight attendant had hooked me up with some paper towels and she was helping me kind of clean up. But because I had drank some of the coffee, the diuretic was taking effect. So I had to go number two in an airline bathroom. Not something I've ever wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But I do my business. That's not the issue. The issue is I still have all these paper towels that she handed me while my number two is still sitting in the toilet. As I get up, I go to reach for the flusher, knocking the paper towels into it as I press the button. It just clogs the entire toilet with my giant ball of coffeed paper towels. Oh. So I don't know if I'm looking at me or at coffee when I'm looking into this toilet. And
oh, God.
I'm like, it's suction. It's not a normal toilet. So it's like, I'm still standing there waiting there for the water tank to refill just because that's what like my instinct is to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to wait 30 seconds and then I'm going to try flushing again. And I press the button. No movement. And I'm like, oh my God.
Great.
I'm like,
Foley
everybody saw me spill the coffee. Everybody saw me walk down this thing. Everybody except the person I was with, my former boss who was asleep, missed all of this. So I'm in the bathroom and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So as I kind of go through the motions of what is possible here, I realize I'm gonna have to get down and dirty and shred this bit myself.
Gotta reach in.
So there I am, like a little squirrel building a nest, shredding my little shit and coffee papers with my fingertips to make enough of an air gap where the suction actually works.
Oh.
And I'm doing that and I'm using my elbow to flush, and it's eventually bit by bit, it's going down. And then I spend the next 20 minutes washing my hands as many times as I can. I think I used all of the soap.
Oh.
I'm like, I just could not there. I just felt dirty the whole time, no matter what.
Yeah.
So then I make my way back to my seat. I sit down, enjoy the remaining 15 minutes of the flight. So
Nathan, I don't know if you can top that. I don't know if you built a little nest like a beaver in your thing, but or a dam, whew, Brian. That's some courage, buddy.
Yeah.
That's real courage. You're a hero. Nathan.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Take
that
it
was terrifying. I'll just give you the facts. So the year is 2013. I'm in New York City. I was working on a film, and that was being shot in Manhattan, and I was staying with a friend who lived in Brooklyn. This is the first time I'd ever been to New York, so I didn't know my way around that great. But we finished shooting in New York, and I can sense that you get that feeling that the diarrhea is on the way. It's coming at some point. It's going to be part of your life in the near future. We've all been there. So I go and I get on the subway and I have to change trains several times. And the situation is escalating very quickly. And it's like, it's like painful. And like, I can't at certain time, like it kind of comes in waves, it's like, I gotta go. You hold off. And it's like, okay, I'm going to be good for the next few minutes. And then that fluctuation. And I literally at one point I was sitting on the platform, my train comes up, but it was in one of the critical moments where I'm like, if I stand up, it's game over, baby. So I had to just sit there and watch the train leave and know that was another like 5 minutes of precious time in this situation that I was losing out on. And so then I finally, like, the next one comes and I get on and I sit there and I'm just, ugh. And finally, after changing trains 3 times, I get to the station in Brooklyn I need to get off at. And it's still like a 7-minute walk to my friend's house. And I have to stop like 3 times on the first block and just sit there in agony, just being like, oh, just hold it, don't do it. Just, you gotta make it. Yeah. And like, I'm literally like, I just don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm staggering along and there's some sort of like police facility right there. Mm-hmm. And it's like 8:30, 9:30 at night, something like that. And I'm like, this is they're public servants. They have to help me. And I go up and I'm like, at this point, I am literally crying. There are tears coming out of my eyes because I'm in so much pain because of this situation. And I'm pounding on the door. And a police officer comes out and is like, we're closed. Like, what are you doing? And they see me with tears coming down my eyes and doubled over. And I'm like, I need to use your bathroom. And they're like this, like, no, like we're closed. You can't do this. Like, whatever. And I'm
get out of here,
and
junkie.
finally,
go on. Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, I looked them in the eyes and I said, listen to me. Either you let me in or I am going to shit all over your front steps and you can arrest me and bring me in that way. But either way, I'm coming in there. And then that was enough. And they were like, okay, fine. And so they let me in and they showed me where the bathroom was. And I guess they must have like assume, like you say, like they were like, is this guy, what is he on? Like, what is going on? We don't know what the hell's happening. So I do my thing and it was rough. It was a rough one. And then I finally, like, I'm done washing my hands and catching my breath, and I leave. And I realize that the police officer literally stayed right outside the door because they must have been worried I was, like, gonna overdose or do something. Like, so anyways, they got the whole experience right alongside me. Yeah.
You've never mentioned this before. New York is filled with things called businesses that have restrooms. You could have avoided this so easily. You brought all this pain and suffering on yourself. That's I'm like, you stop at a bagel place, you stop at a pizza place. Sure, you got to buy a slice of pizza, but you get to use the bathroom.
Oh, I was on the train for the whole
get off the freaking
time.
train. This is crazy. Instead, wow. Cops thought you were gonna shoot up and like wreck a bathroom. This is amazing, though. Brian, I thought your little squirrel nest was gonna take it, but Nathan swooped in just now and he stole this one, plain as day. I'm giving that one to Nathan.
Wow.
That's it. All right. Let me do a quick tally of the final scores here. Bum, boom. See, quick math. Here, all day for me. 4, 7, 10. Nathan, you're our champ today. 14-10 on memorable bodily functions.
Wow. I am a disgusting man.
I mean, you had to go to most people don't go to the cops for help. You know, they know it's a dangerous thing, but you were like, this is that serious. That's incredible. Okay, guys, it's time. Fast 5 list. Here we go. Top 5 reasons to put your fist in your mouth. Number 5. So there's no room for your foot. All right, number 4. You accidentally swallowed a large format ice cube that's now lodged, isn't melting fast enough, and it's past your uvula. So just like when you were at the homecoming dance and Kelly said no, so you had to robot back to the snack table. Chief, it's time to save yourself. Number 3. You just slipped out Winnie the Pooh's back window after ransacking the place, and it's time to get rid of the evidence. Number 2. It's become monotonous putting it in the soft plaster wall where you hung those shelves to display the trophies you never won.
Oh.
And number 1 on the top 5 reasons to put your fist in your mouth, your butt got dull. And that's this week's episode of Uber Cinco. Please rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts. And once again, we love that hearty wom, word of mouth. So please tell your friends and family about us. Send them your favorite episode. And thank you to Mr. One-Way Hennenfent.
Yep, me, Nathan Hennenfent. I'm so sorry, Mom. Sorry that you had to listen to this.
And our big, wet squirrel nest building boy,
Right.
And I've been Mitch Brinkman, and as Bizbear always says, deep belching is a sign it was a great meal. Auf Wiedersehen and adios.
You've just listened to Uber Cinco, a production of UBK Studios. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your fine podcasts from.
If you like what you hear and want to support the show, please visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/UBK Studios. Every little bit helps us keep the lights on and the bill collectors at bay.
Keep tabs on us on all the social media at UBK Studios, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see that we really are just a bunch of good Midwestern boys.